The massive alien ship hung in Earth's orbit like a silver leaf catching starlight. Inside, Council observer Thomas watched the blue planet through the observation deck's window, his three-fingered hand pressed against the reinforced glass. Next to him, First Speaker Anderson of the Galactic Council shifted uncomfortably in his environmental suit. "You can't be serious about this classification," Anderson said, his translator converting his musical language into standard galactic common. "No intelligent species could evolve in such conditions." Thomas turned all four of his eyes toward the first speaker. "The data is clear. High gravity, extreme temperature variations, aggressive predators, natural disasters, and atmospheric oxygen levels that would be toxic to most Council races." He paused, bringing up a holographic display. "And yet, they thrive." The images floating before them showed humans in various environments, climbing mountains in freezing conditions, diving in deep oceans, running marathons under burning suns, and building cities in places that should be uninhabitable. "Deathworld classification is automatic," Thomas continued. "The real question is, how do we approach them?" The answer came sooner than expected. Earth's first official transmission to the alien ship was simple and direct. "Welcome to Earth. We come in peace and hope to establish diplomatic relations." Anderson was stunned. "They detected us through our cloaking technology." "Apparently," Thomas replied, noting this development in his report. "Their technological progress is concerning." The first meeting was arranged in a specially prepared chamber on the alien ship. The human delegation would arrive in 6 hours, giving the Council representatives time to adjust their environmental controls to Earth standard conditions, a process that required multiple safety checks and backup systems. When the human representatives walked in, the aliens watched in shock as they moved comfortably in conditions that should have been challenging even for adapted species. The humans wore simple suits, no environmental protection, and showed no signs of distress in the artificial gravity. Ambassador Mark stepped forward, extending his hand in what the Council would later learn was a traditional Earth greeting. "On behalf of Earth's nations, we welcome you to our solar system." The Council members, despite their advanced translation technology, struggled to process what they were seeing. Here was a species from a world that should have crushed them, breathing air that should have been too oxygen-rich, standing in gravity that should have strained their bodies. And they were smiling. During the initial discussions, more surprises emerged. The humans had already established colonies on Mars, their moon, and several space stations. They had survived and adapted to conditions that most Council species would consider impossible. "Your species is quite remarkable," Thomas said during a break in the diplomatic talks. "Most races we encounter require centuries of genetic modification to achieve space travel. The environmental challenges alone." Ambassador Mark smiled. "We've always been good at adapting. It's kind of our thing." The Council representatives exchanged worried looks. They had encountered Deathworld species before, but none that had advanced so quickly or adapted so readily to such diverse conditions. By the end of the first day, the Council had made its decision. Earth would be invited to join the galactic community, but under a special classification, protected species status. The intention was to shield this young race from the harsh realities of galactic politics until they were ready. As the human delegation departed, Thomas made his final entry in the contact report. "While the humans appear peaceful and their technology is still developing, their natural adaptability and resilience suggest caution. Recommendation: monitor closely." The fact that they consider their harsh world normal indicates potential capabilities we cannot yet fully comprehend. Little did the Council know that their protected species designation would soon prove to be one of the greatest ironies in galactic history. The humans didn't need protection. The galaxy would need protection from them. And so began Earth's entry into the galactic community, with the Council believing they were taking a primitive species under their wing. They would learn, all too soon, exactly why species from Deathworlds were usually given a wide berth in galactic affairs. Captain James stood on the bridge of the Earth diplomatic vessel Starseeker, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing recent pirate attack patterns. 6 months had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council, and something wasn't right. Another trading ship hit near the outer colonies. First Officer Mike reported, pointing to a blinking red dot on the map. Third one this week. James rubbed his chin, studying the pattern. Unlike his alien counterparts, who required rest cycles every 6 hours, he had been analyzing the data for nearly 14 hours straight. The Council representatives found this kind of endurance disturbing. "The Council won't like what I'm about to say," James said, "but these aren't random attacks." He brought his concerns to the next Council meeting. The Grand Chamber, designed to accommodate dozens of different species, felt cold to human standards. Most Council members wore environmental suits, their bodies not adapted to the standardized atmosphere. "Honored Council," James began, "the pirate activities near human colonies show clear military planning. Someone is testing our defenses." First Speaker Anderson waved a dismissive tentacle. "Captain James, you're new to galactic politics. Pirates are a minor inconvenience, nothing more." "Minor?" James pulled up footage from the latest attack. "Tell that to our colonists on New Hope." The video showed what happened when pirates boarded the small farming colony. They expected easy targets. Instead, the farmers fought back with improvised weapons. The pirates retreated, leaving behind 3 of their own, stunned by the colonists' unexpected resistance. Council member Robert, Earth's representative, leaned forward. The pirates weren't ready for humans who could fight in high gravity and thin atmosphere. They didn't expect farmers who could lift twice their body weight. The council chamber erupted in worried whispers. They had forgotten that even ordinary humans were built for a death world. "This is precisely why we gave humans protected status," Anderson said nervously, "to avoid violent incidents." James noticed how some council members shifted uncomfortably at the mention of pirates. Their body language, though alien, suggested they knew more than they were saying. Later that day, in a secure communication with Earth Command, James shared his suspicions. "Someone on the council is backing these pirates. They're not just raiders. They're testing us." The response from Earth was quick. "Keep watching. Document everything. But remember our orders. No military response unless directly attacked." 2 days later, a pirate ship made that mistake. They attacked a small human mining facility, expecting easy pickings. The miners, all former military, sealed their atmospheric suits and fought in vacuum conditions. The pirates had never seen anything like it. "How?" a captured pirate leader asked later. "How can they fight in zero gravity like they were born to it?" James watched the interrogation recording, noting how the alien pirates seemed genuinely shocked. To them, fighting without perfect environmental conditions was unthinkable, but humans had been training for space combat since before they met the Council. The Council called an emergency session after the mining facility incident. James stood before them again, this time with proof that the pirates had Council-grade weapons. "This is troubling," Anderson admitted, "but surely it's an isolated incident." "No," James replied firmly. Red emergency lights flashed across every screen in Earth Command Center. Commander Lisa stood before the massive display wall, her face hard as stone as reports flooded in from multiple colonies. The pirates had finally shown their true plan. "New Hope Colony under attack," a communications officer reported. "Farming Colony 7 hit. Mining Station Delta. We've lost contact." The attacks were happening simultaneously across 7 different human settlements. This was no longer just raiding. This was war. "Council response?" Lisa asked, though she already knew the answer. Officer Tom checked the incoming messages. "They're calling for an emergency meeting to discuss proper diplomatic procedures." Lisa slammed her fist on the console, making several alien observers jump. They weren't used to seeing such physical displays of emotion. "People are dying while they discuss procedures." The council chamber was in chaos when Lisa arrived. Representatives from 20 different species argued about protocols and proper responses. None of them seemed to understand the urgency. The attacks must be investigated through proper channels. First Speaker Anderson insisted, his environmental suit gleaming under the chamber lights. "We cannot rush tow." Lisa interrupted by playing a live feed from New Hope Colony. The council members watched in shock as human colonists fought back against the pirates in conditions that would kill most species. Farmers lifted massive equipment as makeshift barriers. Children helped carry supplies through toxic smoke that would have paralyzed most aliens. "This is what's happening while you debate," Lisa said. "But that's not even the worst part." She pulled out a data crystal, evidence gathered by Captain James over months of investigation. The holographic display showed weapons, ship signatures, and communication logs. "These pirates have council military-grade equipment," Lisa continued. "Equipment that only council members can access. Someone in this room has been arming them." The chamber erupted again, but this time in nervous whispers. Several council members tried to leave, only to find Earth security forces at the doors. "Impossible," Anderson protested. "You can't bring armed humans into the council chamber." "They're not armed," Lisa replied coldly. "A human doesn't need weapons to be dangerous. You gave us protected species status because you thought we were weak. You forgot we evolved on a world that should have killed us." The evidence was clear. 3 council members had been secretly supporting the pirates, hoping to prove that humans were too dangerous to join galactic society. They never expected the attacks to reveal just how dangerous humans really were. Back at Earth Command, the reports had changed. New Hope Colony had fought off its attackers. Mining Station Delta responded. Its workers had sealed off the pirates in a depressurized section. Even the children of Farming Colony 7 had helped set traps using their knowledge of the high-gravity environment. "What are your orders, Commander?" Officer Tom asked as Lisa returned from the council. Lisa looked at the battle displays, then at the first battle lasted exactly 6 minutes. Admiral Marcus watched from the bridge of the Earth flagship Thunder as his ships engaged the pirate fleet near Mining Station Delta. The pirates had expected to face civilian vessels. Instead, they met warships designed by people who had spent centuries preparing for space warfare. "Enemy ships attempting to retreat," the tactical officer reported. "They're not used to our acceleration rates." Marcus nodded. Most alien species couldn't handle more than 2G of acceleration. Human ships could push 8G when needed. Their crews, raised on a high-gravity world, could take it. "They're sending surrender signals," Communications Officer Jack announced. "Too late," Marcus replied. "They attacked our children." The Earth fleet moved with a speed that shocked the watching council observers. Human ships didn't break formation under fire. They didn't retreat when hit. Instead, they pressed forward, enduring damage that should have forced them to withdraw. On the Council's emergency broadcast channel, alien species watched in horror as humans demonstrated why they had survived on their deadly homeworld. A pirate vessel managed to board one of the smaller Earth ships. They breached the hull, expecting to find crew members dying in the vacuum. Instead, they found humans in lightweight suits, fighting hand-to-hand in zero gravity. The pirates retreated, leaving behind footage that would give Council species nightmares. "How?" a captured pirate leader asked during interrogation. "How do you fight in conditions that should kill you?" The human interrogator just smiled. "We've been fighting in deadly conditions since we first picked up sticks on Earth. Space isn't that different from our deep oceans. Vacuum isn't that different from our highest mountains. We were born ready for this." Back on the Thunder, Marcus received reports from all sectors. The pirates were retreating everywhere, spreading stories about human combat capabilities, stories about crews that fought on despite injuries that would incapacitate other species, about soldiers who could survive in vacuum for short periods even without suits, about pilots who flew through radiation storms to outflank their enemies. "Admiral," Jack called out, "we're getting a transmission from the Council." First Speaker Anderson's image appeared on the main screen. Even through his environmental suit, his fear was visible. This is not how protected species behave. We never needed your protection, Marcus replied. We accepted it because we wanted peace. But you forgot something important about humans. We can be peaceful without being weak. The battle footage spread across the galaxy. Alien species watched in disbelief as human ships performed maneuvers that should have killed their crews. They saw humans fighting in environmental conditions that other species considered unsurvivable. Send word to all colonies, Marcus ordered. The shield of peace is broken. Show them what Deathworlders can do. Across human space, hidden military installations activated. Ships that had been disguised as civilian vessels revealed their true nature. The pirates had wanted to prove humans were dangerous. Now they were learning just how right they were. Sir, Jack reported, the Council is demanding we stop our offensive. Marcus looked at the tactical display. In 6 hours, human forces had cleared 3 sectors of pirate activity. Not by destroying them, but by demonstrating such overwhelming capability that the pirates fled. Send this message to the Council, Marcus said. You called Earth a death world. You called us a protected species. Now you know why we survived our world. We didn't need protection. We needed you to stay out of our way. As the message was sent, the Thunder sensors detected more pirate ships fleeing into hyperspace. They were spreading a new warning across the galaxy. Never let humans go to war, because once they start, they don't stop until the job is done. The galaxy was learning an important lesson. Humans weren't just another species that survived a harsh world. They were the species that turned surviving into an art form. In a dimly lit bar on Space Station Trade Hub 7, an alien pirate captain named Bolt told his story to a terrified audience. His hands shook as he poured another drink, his environmental suit still showing damage from his last encounter with humans. We thought we had them, he said, voice trembling. Disabled their ship's engines, breached their hull. Should have been easy pickings. He downed his drink. Should have been. The footage from his ship's cameras played on the bar's holo display. It showed human crew members rushing toward the breach, not away from it. Some weren't even wearing full spacesuits, just oxygen masks and simple pressure gear. They don't retreat when their ship is damaged, Bolt continued. They run toward the danger. They repair systems while still under fire. We weren't trained for that. Across the galaxy, similar stories spread. Reports flooded the Council about human combat capabilities that defied belief. A trading ship captain reported seeing humans working outside their ship's hull during a radiation storm. A pirate base discovered that boarding human vessels was essentially a suicide mission. In the Council chamber, representatives watched new footage with growing horror. A human mining ship had been cornered by pirates. Instead of surrendering, the miners sealed their suits and deliberately vented their own ship's atmosphere. They fought in the vacuum, using mining tools as weapons. This isn't natural, one council member whispered. No species should be able to fight like this. Commander Lisa appeared before the council again, this time with more evidence of their members' corruption. You wanted to know what humans are capable of, she said. Now you're learning. But you haven't seen anything yet. She played a new recording. Human ships were now running combat drills in the corona of a star. The heat and radiation would kill most species instantly. The humans called it realistic training conditions. By your standards, Earth should be uninhabitable, Lisa explained. We have areas hot enough to melt metal and cold enough to freeze air solid. We have crushing ocean depths and thin mountain air. We have deserts that burn and storms that level cities. She paused, letting that sink in. And we call this our home. The council chamber was silent. They finally understood what it meant to be a death world species. Humans hadn't just survived their harsh world. They had mastered it. And now they were applying that mastery to space warfare. Reports kept coming in. Human ships were developing new tactics daily. They used gravitational slingshots around stars that would tear other ships apart. They hid in radiation fields that would cook other species. They survived conditions that the Council had classified as unsurvivable. A group of pirates tried to hide in an asteroid field, thinking the radiation and debris would keep them safe. They found human ships waiting there, crews already adapted to the harsh conditions. How do we fight an enemy that treats deadly environments like home? A pirate leader asked during his surrender. How do we beat someone who looks at vacuum and sees just another Tuesday? In the Earth Command Center, Admiral Marcus reviewed the latest battle reports with Commander Lisa. The pirates were retreating everywhere, spreading tales of human resilience that seemed impossible to other species. "They're calling us monsters," Lisa said, reading the intercepted communications. Marcus shook his head. "We're not monsters. We're just humans. This is what we are." The terror of human capability spread faster than their actual military advance. Species across the galaxy began to understand why Earth had produced such formidable life. Every human was the product of millions of years of evolution on a world that tried to kill them daily. As Lisa prepared for another council meeting, she received one final report. The pirates weren't just retreating now. They were warning others. Don't fight the humans. Don't even let them start fighting, because once humans go to war, they'd bring their whole death world with them. The Council's grand chamber had changed. Where once elegant alien diplomats sat in comfortable environmental suits, now heavily armed guards stood watch. In the center of the room, 3 council members stood accused of treason. Their plot to use pirates against human colonies finally exposed. "You don't understand," Council Member White said, his environmental suit vibrating with fear. "We had to prove they were too dangerous to join galactic society. We had to stop them before." "Before what?" Commander Lisa interrupted, walking into the chamber. She didn't wear an environmental suit like the aliens. She didn't need one. Before the galaxy discovered that humans aren't weak. First Speaker Anderson watched nervously as Earth's fleet appeared on the main display. The corrupt council members had called in their own warships, hoping to maintain power through force. It would be the first large-scale battle between human and council forces. "This is your last chance," Admiral Marcus's voice boomed through the chamber. "Surrender your ships and face justice, or learn why Earth is called a death world." The corrupt council members chose to fight. They thought their superior technology and centuries of space warfare experience would give them victory. They were wrong. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations. Council ships, designed for fighting in perfect conditions, faced human vessels that treated space itself as just another hostile environment to overcome. "Impossible," White shouted as he watched the battle unfold. "Their ships are entering the star's radiation field." Human vessels used stellar radiation like cover, emerging from solar flares to attack. Their crews, already adapted to extreme conditions, fought while other species would have been unconscious from the gravitational forces. "How are they operating in these conditions?" a council commander asked as his ships retreated. "The heat alone should disable their systems." The answer came from Captain James, who led the main assault. "We built our ships like we build everything, to survive hell itself." Council ships fired weapons designed to disable life support systems. They discovered that human crews could fight even with minimal life support. They tried to trap human ships in high-gravity zones, only to watch in horror as the vessels pushed through forces that should have torn them apart. "This isn't a battle," one alien observer noted. "This is a demonstration of why you don't provoke a Deathworld species." In the council chamber, the corrupt members watched their fleet crumble. Their ships, despite superior weapons, couldn't match the sheer endurance of human vessels and crews. "We can negotiate," White pleaded as human forces approached the chamber. "We can offer technology, resources." Lisa smiled coldly. "You don't understand. We don't want your technology. We don't need your resources. We wanted peace, and you chose war." The final moments of the battle were almost anticlimactic. Council ships surrendered one by one, their crews unable to comprehend how humans fought in conditions they considered fatal. In the chamber, the 3 corrupt council members were arrested, not by security forces, but by their own colleagues who had finally understood their terrible mistake. "You tried to prove humans were too dangerous for the galaxy," First Speaker Anderson said as they were led away. "Instead, you proved why we should have feared starting a war with them." As the dust settled, the remaining council members looked at the human representatives with new eyes. They finally understood that humanity's real power wasn't in their weapons or ships. It was in their ability to treat the impossible as just another challenge to overcome. "Let this be a lesson," Lisa announced to the chamber. "Humans don't want war. We don't seek it, but we survived a world that tried to kill us every day. And we'll survive whatever you throw at us too." The breaking of the council marked the end of the old order. A new age was beginning, one where the galaxy understood that protected species had been the wrong label for humanity all along. 1 month after the Great Battle, the Galactic Council chamber looked very different. The environmental controls now ran at Earth standard settings. If alien species wanted to participate, they had to adapt, just as humans had been adapting their whole existence. Commander Lisa stood before the reformed council, her dress uniform crisp and formal. Behind her, a huge window showed Earth's fleet in formation with ships from 30 different alien species. "The galaxy has changed," she began. "Not because of our weapons or our ships, but because you finally understand what humanity really is." First Speaker Anderson, now wearing an improved environmental suit, nodded in agreement. "We thought we were protecting a primitive species. Instead, we were ignoring the most capable race in the galaxy." The new Galactic Defense Force was taking shape. Alien crews trained alongside humans, learning how to operate in conditions they once thought impossible. The first mixed-species crew had successfully completed survival training on Earth, an achievement that would have been unthinkable just months ago. "Report from the outer colonies," Captain James announced, entering the chamber. "The pirate networks are completely dismantled. Most surrendered when they heard humans were coming." The chamber's main display showed footage from the new training programs. Alien species learning to fight in high gravity, to survive in hostile environments, to push past their perceived limitations, all under human instruction. "The corrupt council members' trial begins next week," an alien representative said. "But they've already revealed everything. They feared humans would dominate the galaxy through war." Lisa smiled. "Instead, we're helping it grow stronger through peace." The evidence had shown a deeper truth. The corrupt council members hadn't just feared human warfare. They had feared human potential. Every time they threw a challenge at humanity, humans didn't just survive. They adapted, improved, and came back stronger. A young alien cadet approached Lisa after the meeting. "Is it true?" he asked. "Did humans really evolve on a world that tries to kill them every day?" "Not tries," Lisa corrected. "Failed to kill us." That's an important difference. Across the galaxy, things were changing. Species that once looked down on Deathworlders now sought human guidance. Planets once considered uninhabitable were being colonized using human techniques. The galaxy was learning that adaptation was better than fear. In the Earth Command Center, Admiral Marcus reviewed the latest reports with satisfaction. Thousands of alien species had applied to train with human forces, not to learn warfare, but to learn survival. "They finally understand," he said to Lisa. "Humanity's greatest weapon was never our ability to fight. It was our ability to adapt and survive." The final meeting of the day brought an unexpected announcement. The Council had created a new classification to replace the outdated protected species status. Earth was now designated as a guardian species, teachers and protectors of galactic civilization. "Let this be recorded in galactic history," First Speaker Anderson announced. "We didn't discover humans. We discovered the species that will help us all evolve beyond our limitations." As the sun set on another Earth day, Lisa stood at the observation deck, watching alien ships train alongside human vessels. A message from a distant colony flashed on her screen. A group of former pirates had just completed their first high-gravity survival training. They said we were too dangerous for the galaxy, Lisa mused. They were right, but not in the way they thought. Humanity had proven to be dangerous not through warfare, but through inspiration. They showed the galaxy that any species could adapt, could survive, could thrive. The lesson wasn't never let humans go to war anymore. It was never underestimate humanity's power to transform the impossible into the everyday. And across the stars, a new age began, not one of fear and isolation, but of growth and adaptation. Because in the end, humanity's greatest victory wasn't defeating their enemies. It was teaching the galaxy how to overcome its own limitations.